Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture of this course heat transfer. So this is the continuation of the last lecture. So in the last lecture we have discussed the thermal boundary layer, then the energy equation associated with this thermal boundary layer when the fluid is flowing over a flat plate, and we have studied the local and average heat transfer coefficient, different formulas related to those heat transfer coefficients, and we have discussed some numericals based on those formula. So today we will be continuing this topic, and one important topic that is known as the Reynolds-Colburn analogy. So all these things we will discuss in today's lecture. Okay. So let us continue and start today's lecture. So this local and average heat transfer coefficients concept, it was discussed in the earlier lecture. So there we have seen in case of the local heat transfer coefficient Hx, this formula is equals to 0.332 k by x Reynolds number to the power half and Prandtl's number to the power 1/3. So if we use this local heat transfer coefficient, then the formula for the local Nusselt number, that is Hx by k, this is equals to 0.332 Reynolds number to the power half and Prandtl's number to the power 1/3. Now if we try to find the average heat transfer coefficient, that is the H bar, then the formula of this average heat transfer coefficient, this is equals to 1 by L integration 0 to L and Hx dx. So here instead of this Hx, if we put the value of this Hx from the equation number 7.64, then after doing the integration within the limit 0 to L, we will be getting the value of the H bar, or in some cases this average heat transfer coefficient, it is also represented as HL. So this will be equals to 0.664 k by L REL to the power half and Prandtl's number to the power 1/3. So these are the two equations, that is 7.64 and 7.66. These are applicable for local and average heat transfer coefficient as well as local and average Nusselt number. Now if we compare this to 7.64 and 7.66, then ultimately we are getting that average heat transfer coefficient, this is equals to twice of local heat transfer coefficient. So this is the relation in between the local and average heat transfer coefficients, and in that case now the average value of the Nusselt number, this will be H bar L by K, that means it will be 0.664 average Reynolds number to the power half and Prandtl's number to the power 1/3. So all these equations that in this slide, that is related to this local heat transfer coefficient, local Nusselt number, then average heat transfer coefficient and average Nusselt number, and the relation in between the local and average heat transfer coefficient, all these things are valid when Prandtl number is greater than 0.5. So this thing we need to remember while using all this formula for the different numericals. We need to check the value of Prandtl number, whether it is coming greater than 0.5 or not. If it is so, then only we will be allowed to use this formula for the local and average heat transfer coefficient as well as local and average Nusselt number. So let us move to the next page. So this is integral energy equation, which is an approximate solution of the energy equation that we have discussed in case of thermal boundary layer over a flat plate in the last lecture. So let us discuss the approximate solution of that energy equation. So here in case of figure 7.10, we can see that the integral energy equation, in that case one control volume has been considered, it is ABCD, so represented by the dotted line. So here we need have taken into assumption that rho, Cp and K, thermoplastic properties of fluid, it remains constant within the operating range of the temperature, and the heating of the plate, it commences at a distance x0 from the leading edge of the plate. So in that case, the boundary layer initiates at x equals to x0 and develops and grows beyond that. So in this diagram, you can see that the hydrodynamic boundary layer, that is velocity boundary layer, and the thermal boundary layer, all these two different boundary layer in case of a thin stationary plate, these have been represented here, and the delta, that is the boundary layer thickness in case of the velocity boundary layer or hydrodynamic boundary layer, and delta th, it is the boundary layer thickness in case of the thermal boundary layer. So all these two boundary layer thicknesses also have been represented here. So here we can see that the value of the hydrodynamic boundary layer, it is higher than the thermal boundary layer. Now the mass of the fluid which is entering through the face AB. So AB is the left face of the considered control volume ABCD. So the mass of the fluid entering this control volume through the face AB, this is equals to integration 0 to h rho u dy. Now the mass of the fluid leaving through the face CD, which is the right face or right side of the considered control volume ABCD. In that case, the mass of the fluid leaving through the face CD, this is equals to integration 0 to h rho u dy plus on infinitesimal part, infinitesimal mass of the fluid, that is del x of integration 0 to h rho u dy into dx. Now the mass of the fluid which is entering the control volume through the face BC, which is the top side, the upper side of the considered control volume. So in that case, the mass of the fluid, it will be equals to integration 0 to h rho u dy plus del x of integration 0 to h rho u dy dx minus integration 0 to h rho u dy. So ultimately it will be this equation number 7.71, which is del x of integration 0 to h rho u dy into dx. Now the heat influx, that means the heat which is entering through the face AB, Qx, this is equals to mass into specific heat into temperature. So this formula we have got when we have studied the one-dimensional heat conduction equation. So Qx equals to integration 0 to h rho u dy multiplied by Cp multiplied by T. So ultimately this rho and Cp, as these are constant, so we can write that rho Cp integration 0 to h ut dy. Now the heat efflux through the face CD, that means the heat which is going out of the control volume through the face CD, it will be Qx plus dx, which is equals to integration 0 to h ut dy plus del x of rho Cp integration 0 to h ut dy into dx. So this is the heat which is going out through the face CD of the control volume ABCD. Now this heat energy influx through the face BC, which is outside thermal boundary layer, and there the temperature is constant at T alpha. So in that case, the QH, this is equals to del x of integration 0 to h rho u dy multiplied by dx Cp into T alpha. Again, the heat conducted into the control volume through the face AD, so which is the bottommost side of the considered control volume. So in that case, Q conduction, this is equals to minus Ka del T del y at y equals to 0. So this is equals to minus K dx del T del y at y equals to 0. Now the energy balance for this considered element or the control volume, it can be written as like this: rho Cp integration 0 to h ut dy plus del x of rho Cp T alpha integration 0 to h u dy into dx minus K dx into del T del y at y equals to 0. So this will be equals to rho Cp integration 0 to h ut dy plus the del x rho Cp integration 0 to h ut dy dx. Now this is the energy balance equation for the considered element here. Now after some calculation and some rearrangement, we will be getting the equation number 7.76, which is equals to del x integration 0 to h t alpha minus t u dy. This is equals to k by rho Cp del t del y to y equals to 0. Now this k by rho Cp, which is equals to the thermal conductivity by heat capacity, this is equals to thermal diffusivity, which is denoted by alpha. So that means the right hand side of this equation, it can be represented in terms of alpha, that is thermal diffusivity, and in that case that right hand side will be alpha del t del y at y equals to 0. Now this equation 7.7, this is the integral equation for the boundary layer for constant properties and constant free stream temperature T alpha. Now if the viscous work done within the element it is also considered, in that case the equation can be represented as del x of integration 0 to h T alpha minus T into u dy. This is equals to mu by rho Cp. That means the viscous terms are coming now into picture because we have considered the viscous work done. So mu by rho Cp multiplied integration 0 to h del to u del y to dx dy. This is equals to alpha del t del y, y equals to 0. So on the left hand side it will be actually the plus sign. So where this mu by rho Cp and integration 0 to h del to u del y to del x dx dy, this is equals to the viscous work done within the element. So usually in this equation or in this analysis, actually the viscous dissipation term is very small and that's why it is neglected. So it is considered only when the velocity of the flow field becomes very large. So here we have seen the integral energy equation and its solution. Now let us discuss one numerical. So what the question says, air at atmospheric pressure and 200 degrees centigrade flows over a plate with a velocity of 5 meter per second. The plate is 15 millimeter wide and is maintained at a temperature of 120 degrees centigrade. We need to calculate the thickness of hydrodynamic and thermal boundary layers, that means delta and delta TH both, and the local heat transfer coefficient, that means Hx, at a distance of 0.5 meter from the leading edge. Okay, so assume that the flow is on one side of the plate. So what are the values given in the question? The value of density is given 0.815 kg per meter cube. Dynamic viscosity's value is given 24.5 and 10 to the minus 6 Newton second per meter square. The pressure is given, the Prandtl number is given 0.7 and the thermal conductivity it is given 0.0364 watt per meter Kelvin. And these are the things given and we need to calculate delta, delta TH and Hx. Now to calculate the value of the delta, that is the boundary layer thickness, there are 5 different values that we have discussed in one of the last lecture. There was one table for the velocity, 5 different velocity distribution equations, and there we have seen that when no equation for the velocity distribution is given, but then also we need to find the value of the boundary layer thickness, in that case by default we will consider the Blasius solution as the velocity distribution equation, and corresponding to this Blasius solution the formula for the boundary layer thickness we will consider. Now the formula for the boundary layer thickness corresponding to the Blasius solution in this numerical, this is equals to 5x divided by root under Reynolds number. So the value of x, it is given in the question, which is 0.5 meter from the leading edge. That means we need to calculate the value of the Reynolds number to find the hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness. So the value of the Reynolds number, its formula is actually rho u d or rho u x divided by mu, or in terms of kinematic viscosity also you can represent that one, that is u x divided by nu. Now here the value of u, that is the velocity, it is given 5 meter per second. X, that is the distance from the leading edge, it is also given 0.5, and mu, that is mu by rho, that is the dynamic viscosity and density, both these values are also given. So that means you can calculate the value of Reynolds number, which is equals to 83,163. So this value is obviously lesser than our upper critical or lower critical values of the Reynolds number. So hence this flow is actually laminar. Now if we want to calculate the value of the hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness, so in that case the formula will be corresponding to the Blasius solution, which is actually 5x divided by root under Reynolds number. Now if we put all the values in this formula, then we are getting the value of the hydrodynamic boundary layer. This is equals to 8.669 millimeter. Now the second part of this numerical, it is we need to calculate the thermal boundary layer thickness also. So in the last class we have discussed that there is a relation in between the velocity, or that is the hydrodynamic boundary layer, and thermal boundary layer, and this relation is actually the thermal boundary layer. This is equals to the hydrodynamic boundary layer divided by the Prandtl number to the power 1/3. Now here if we use this relation, in that case the value of hydrodynamic boundary layer, that is delta, we have already calculated, which is 8.669. The value of Prandtl number, it is given in the question, which is 0.7. Now if we put all these values in this formula of the thermal boundary layer, then we can calculate the value, and this value is coming actually 9.763 millimeter. So the value of the thicknesses of hydrodynamic and thermal boundary layer we have calculated till now. Now the last part of this question, it is that we need to calculate the local heat transfer coefficient at a distance of 0.5 from the leading edge. Now this formula we have discussed today, and we have also got this formula in the last lecture also, that the formula for the local heat transfer coefficient, this is equals to 0.332 k by x, Reynolds number to the power half and Prandtl number to the power 1/3. Now here all the values are actually given in the question. The value of thermal conductivity, that is K, and the value of X, that is the length 0.5 meter, and the value of Reynolds number we have calculated in this numerical, and the value of Prandtl number, it is also given in the question. If we put all these values in the formula of the local heat transfer coefficient Hx, then after calculation we will get this value as 6.189 watt per meter square Kelvin. So this is the procedure to solve this type of numerical. So when there is no velocity distribution equation given, then we need to take into consideration the Blasius solution as the default velocity distribution, and corresponding to that the formula of the hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness we need to consider. Now there is a relation in between the thermal and hydrodynamic boundary layer thicknesses, and the relation is at thermal boundary layer, this is hydrodynamic boundary layer divided by Prandtl number to the power 1/3. So using this relation we have calculated the thermal boundary layer thickness, and lastly to calculate the local heat transfer coefficient we have considered this equation, that is local heat transfer coefficient Hx is equals to 0.332 k by x, Reynolds number to the power half multiplied by Prandtl number to the power 1/3. So using these equations and this procedure we have solved this numerical. Let us move to the next numerical. So this is also similar type of numerical, but here the velocity distribution equation is given. So corresponding to this velocity distribution equation, we will consider its boundary layer thickness formula. Now, in the question it is given air at 1 bar and at a temperature of 30 degrees centigrade, where the dynamic viscosity is given 0.06717 kg per hm, flows at a speed of 1.2 meter per second over a flat plate. So determine the boundary layer thickness at a distance of 250 mm and 500 mm from the leading edge of the plate. Also calculate the mass entrainment between these two sections. The velocity distribution equation is given here. So first we need to calculate the boundary layer thickness value at a distance of 250 mm and 500 mm from the leading edge of the plate. Now the density of the air, it can be calculated as rho equals to P by RT. So the value of P, it is given 1 bar, which can be written as 110 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. Then the value of R is a constant value that we need to remember, 287, and the temperature is given, that is 30 degrees centigrade, which can be converted into Kelvin. Now when x equals to 250 millimeter, that is 0.25 meter, in that case the Reynolds number, this can be calculated as rho ux divided by mu. Now all the values are given in this numerical, and rho you have calculated just now. So the value of Reynolds number can be calculated, and the value is coming here 18,490. Now corresponding to the given velocity distribution equation, the formula of boundary layer thickness, this is equals to 4.64x divided by root under Reynolds number. So the value of Reynolds number we have calculated just now, and the value of x is given for the first case, it is 250 millimeter. So putting these values, we are getting the boundary layer thickness as 8.53 millimeter at a distance of 250 millimeter from the leading edge of the plate. Next, we need to calculate the boundary layer thickness when the value of x is 0.5 meter. So using the similar method, we need to calculate the Reynolds number at a putting the value of x as 0.5, which we are getting as 36,981. If we put this value of the Reynolds number in the formula of the boundary layer thickness corresponding to the given velocity distribution equation, then we are getting the value of the boundary layer thickness delta 2 as 12.06 millimeter. So this is the procedure to calculate the value of the boundary layer thickness corresponding to the given velocity distribution equation when the value of the x is given 250 and 500 meter from the leading edge. Now for the second part of this numerical, we need to calculate the mass entrainment between the two different sections, that is at x equals to 250 millimeter and x equals to 500 millimeter. Now for the mass flow rate at any position in the boundary layer, the formula is known to us. This is mx equals to integration 0 to delta rho u dy. Now here from the given velocity distribution equation, we can write the equation for the small u part. So after putting that value here or that formula here and doing the integration within the limit 0 to delta, we will be getting mx equals to the mass flow rate here as 5 by 8 rho u delta. Now if we need to calculate the mass entrainment between the given two sections at x equals to 250 and x equals to 500, then it will be 5 by 8 rho u multiplied by delta 2 minus delta 1. Now this delta 2 and delta 1, which are the boundary layer thicknesses for the two different given distances, these are already calculated for the first part of the numerical. Now if we put those values here, then ultimately we are getting the mass entrainment as 10.96 kg per hour. So this is the procedure to calculate the boundary layer thickness when the equation of the velocity distribution will be given in the numerical and the calculation of the mass entrainment for that case. So let us move to the next page with a new numerical that is given as air at 20 degrees centigrade is flowing over a flat plate which is 200 millimeter wide and 500 millimeter long. The plate is maintained at 100 degrees centigrade. So we need to find the heat loss per hour from the plate if the air is flowing parallel to 500 millimeter side with 2 meter per second velocity. What will be the effect on heat transfer if the flow is parallel to 200 millimeter side? Now the values given in this question, the properties of air at 100 plus 20 divided by 2, that is at 60 degree, are nu equals to, that is kinematic viscosity value is given 18.97 multiplied by into 10 to the minus 6 meters square per second. Thermal conductivity value is given 0.025 watt per meter degree centigrade and Prandtl number is given 0.7. So you need to find the heat loss and the effect of heat transfer if the flow is parallel to 200 millimeter side. Now to calculate the heat loss per hour from the plate. So for the first case, when the flow is parallel to 500 millimeter side. So in that case, we need to calculate the heat loss or the heat transfer, that is in case of this convection, this is we are getting from the Newton's law of cooling, which is Q equals to HA multiplied by the temperature difference. So the value of this area that is actually given in the question and the temperatures, two different temperatures, these are also given. Now we need to calculate the heat transfer coefficient. So how to calculate that heat transfer coefficient? So to calculate that heat transfer coefficient, we need to use the formula that we have discussed in the earlier slides, that the average heat transfer coefficient, which is in terms of Nusselt number. So Nusselt number equals to HL by K. This is 0.664, Reynolds number to the power half, and Prandtl number to the power 1/3. Now the Reynolds number value or the formula for the Reynolds number, it can be calculated by using this formula, that is UL by nu. So the value of U is given is 2 meter per second. The value of L, that is length or the distance, it is given as 500 millimeter or 0.5 meter. And then value of the kinematic viscosity, it is also given. That means you can calculate the value of the Reynolds number. Now the value of the average heat transfer coefficient, this is equals to K by L multiplied by 0.664, Reynolds number to the power half, and Prandtl number to the power 1/3. So putting this value, we are getting the value of the average heat transfer coefficient as 6.767 watt per meter square degree centigrade. Now if we put this value of H bar in the formula of the heat loss, the heat transfer, that is Q equals to HA multiplied by the temperature difference, then ultimately we will be getting that the value of Q is 54.14 watt. So this is the value of the Q for the first case when the flow is parallel to 500 millimeter side. Now for the second case, we need to use the same procedure, but in this case the value of the L, it will be 200 millimeter. In the earlier case it was 500 millimeter. Now for the second case it is 200 millimeter. Now if the value of L, this is 200 millimeter, then the value of the Reynolds number, it will be equals to 2.11 and 10 to the power 4. So that means it is within the range of the laminar boundary layer. So the value of H, it can be calculated using the same procedure, that is K by L multiplied by 0.664 Reynolds number to the power half and Prandtl number to the power 1/3. So this is equals to 10.7 watt per meter square degree centigrade. Now to calculate the value of the heat loss or the heat transfer from the plate using the Newton's law of cooling, this is equals to H bar A multiplied by the temperature difference. So putting all the values for these different parameters, we will be getting the value of Q. This is equals to 85.6 watt. So this is the way we need to calculate the effect of heat transfer or the heat loss for the two different distances provided in this numerical. And for that we need to remember the equation for the local and average heat transfer coefficient. Now there is one new topic, that is the relation between the fluid friction and heat transfer, which is also known as the Reynolds-Colburn analogy. So what is the relation in between the fluid friction and heat transfer? So as per our previous discussion, we have actually seen that the temperature and flow fields is related, and there is also a relation in between their boundary layer thicknesses. Now if we need to derive the relation in between the fluid friction and heat transfer, so in that case the frictional resistance, it may be directly related to the heat transfer. So how to proceed here? The shear stress at the wall, it may be expressed in terms of the friction coefficient Cf. So this Cf we have discussed earlier, the skin friction coefficient. So in that case tau W, this is equals to Cf rho u square divided by 2. So this concept, it is familiar to us, the skin friction coefficient or the drag coefficient formula. It is shear stress divided by the dynamic head. So this is known to us. Next, this is the defining equation for the friction coefficient. Now the shear stress can also be calculated from the relation that is from Newton's law of viscosity, that is tau W, this is equals to mu du dy W. Now if we equate this to equation, then using the velocity distribution, we can write that tau W, this is equals to 3 by 2 mu u alpha divided by delta. Now here if we use the relation for the boundary layer thickness, then we can write tau W, this is equals to 3 by 2 mu u alpha divided by 4.64 u alpha divided by nu x whole to the power half. So this relation for the Nusselt number we have already got. So if we want to combine these equations 5.52 and 5.53, then we are getting that Cfx by 2, this is equals to 3 by 2 mu u alpha divided by 4.64, then u alpha divided by nu x whole to the power half. So this equation can be represented in terms of the Reynolds number also. So this is equals to 0.323 and Reynolds number to the power minus half. Now the exact solution of the boundary layer equation, this gives us that Cfx by 2, this is equals to 0.332 Reynolds number to the power minus half. Now we can express this equation as Nusselt number divided by Reynolds number into Prandtl number. This is equals to Hx divided by rho Cp u alpha. This is equals to 0.332 Prandtl number to the power minus 2 by 3 and Reynolds number to the power minus half. Now the left side of this equation, this is which is Hx divided by rho Cp u alpha. This is known as the dimensionless term, that is Stanton number. And if we replace this left side with the dimensionless term Stanton number. So in that case, the equation can be represented in the form of Stanton number, and the final equation, it will be Stanton number multiplied by Prandtl number to the power 2/3. This is equals to 0.332 Reynolds number to the power half. So this equation can also be written as Stanton number into Prandtl number to the power 2/3. This is equals to CFX by 2, because the right hand side of the equation 5.55, this is actually CFX by 2, which can be seen from the equation 5.54a. Now this equation 5.56, which is Stanton number into Prandtl number to the power 2/3, which is actually CFX by 2, this equation is known as the Reynolds-Colburn analogy, and it expresses the relation between the fluid friction and heat transfer for laminar flow over a flat plate. So the heat transfer coefficient thus could be determined by making measurements of the frictional drag on a plate under conditions in which no heat transfer is involved. So this is the derivation of the Reynolds-Colburn analogy, which is actually the relation in between the fluid friction and heat transfer for a laminar flow over a flat plate. So these are the references, and today actually we have discussed the different numericals based on the formula of the local and average Nusselt number and local and average heat transfer coefficient. Then the integral energy equation, we have seen how to derive its final approximate solution, and lastly we have discussed the derivation and the concept of the Reynolds-Colburn analogy. So this is the end for this lecture.